Hey, everybody. Today, I'm joined with Richard Hart from HEX. He's from other things too. But HEX is the word right now because there's a lot of people very excited about, some excited, some fearful about, what's coming in the next week for HEX. It's kind of like a big day. We'll just call it a big day. We'll let you say exactly what it is here in a second.
Okay.
But I'm very interested as well because I had just a little bit and it's turned into a lot. So I'm going to find out what happened. So, Richard, welcome to the show. The big payday. What's the deal? What's happening with it? What does it mean? And,
So
what can be the
big payday is when all of the HEX that wasn't claimed by the people that could have claimed it for free didn't claim it. And then some couldn't claim it because they had multi-sig or they had whale penalties. And then some had, late penalties for not claiming on the first day. And when you add up all those penalties, you end up with about 183 billion HEX or 171 billion. So let's call it 170. So it's like 170 billion HEX that's being issued to the stakers by shares. So if you have more shares because you locked your coins for longer, then you're going to get a larger piece of the big payday. And then, those coins that were like penalized and unclaimable or people just didn't try to claim. It's like 97% of people that could have tried to claim didn't. 3% did, which is about $5 billion worth of Bitcoin, which is nice. But, so it's a lot of coins to be handing out. And the total supply is like 460 billion and you're handing out 170 billion. It's about a 30% of the total supply. It's a big deal. Imagine if like Bitcoin had gotten all of its inflation done in the first year and then just said, okay, well, we're giving out the last third of supply. And then we just have very small inflation after. Less than 3.69, which is lower than Bitcoin ever had on its run up to 20,000. So it's a really, really big deal. And, the adoption amplifier that is minted about 1.3. I mean, if you look at if you're 350 days into a launch phase and you've got 460B supply, you've got over 1 billion coins that were being minted a day. Well, that goes away. There's no more billion coins a day minting. So any buy pressure that the adoption amplifier may have been absorbing by taking a lot of ETH in, it's not going to be able to do that anymore because it's not going to exist anymore, which means if people want to buy, they got to buy in the open market and it's going to affect the price. The adoption amplifier used to be able to get in early, put a lot of ETH in there and you're not going to move the price against yourself. But if you try and get in on HEX.com, which is a front end for Uniswap, you're going to push the price hard, right? So the way the price movements work is, there's $7 million of Ethereum sitting in there, maybe 7.5. I have to look. Like you go to uniswap.info and click, the ETH HEX pair and see the real time. Or you can go to uniswap.vision and look at the price chart, and it's literally at the top of the price chart. He hacked it to show the real-time liquidity on both sides. So if you double the amount of ETH that's in there, if you put in 7,000 extra ETH, which is like, I don't know, $7-8 million, you'll quadruple the price. If you add 2 extra units of ETH, tripling it, you'll 9x the price. If you add 3 extra units of ETH and quadruple it, you'll 16x the price. It moves as a square. And we've seen people, there was a guy, I call him, I think it was the God Whale, but it might have been another guy. There was a guy that doubled the HEX price in a single order by just putting a 10,000 ETH market buy-in on Uniswap.
That's so much.
And it didn't come back. The price didn't retrace. It kept going.
Yeah.
And that's not movement that I was used to, as a trader, to see the price just straight double and keep going. You're like, no pullback. Okay. Like, this is crazy, right?
HEX had some interesting moves, over the last 340 some odd days. At first when it launched, the price went way up and then dropped back down. Now it's kind of returned to, I think, higher than where it was before, right?
I mean, we're up. If you bought January 5th, you went up 263x versus the dollar, 100 something X versus Bitcoin, like 80x or 90x versus Ethereum. We're talking about life changing. There's a guy that put in $750, pulled out 35K or 30K, paid off his student loans, sent me the best thank you video I've ever received.
Wow.
He's crying, talking about how HEX like saved his family, and it's just like, you're like, okay, it was real. But then I get more and more of these videos all the time with people that are really pulling out big amounts of cash And the reason that they're able to do that is because these massive giant whales are buying up supply and locking it for 15 years, which lets everyone else eat. When a giant whale comes in and buys, I mean, there's a guy that's got like 2.5 billion staked for 10 years. There's another guy, I think they're related because they've got the coins from the same address, the Genesis block of when Ethereum launched. This guy bought basically a billion HEX, staked it for 15 years.
Wow.
You're in. You are in. You cannot get out. Like, you are locked in. You cannot get out.
That's pretty crazy to stake anything in crypto for 15 years, I think.
Yeah,
I don't want to stake anything for every year ever. Right now,
I don't know of any financial instrument, even in legacy, that has that mechanic where you are in and you cannot get out. He could get out at 7.5 years and lose all of his interest. And his interest is going to be a lot because he's making right now about $4 million a year. Like a couple of days ago when I did the math, he's making $4 million a year on $8 million of locked up HEX because he's got so many extra bonus shares from the longer pays better bonus that triples your shares. So, I mean, from this guy's sitting, he's got an extra $64 million sitting in his wallet. If he wants to fat finger the price and 10x the price, he could 10x the price at any moment. He could just be like, oh, you know what? I want some more. Boop. And I think this is the same guy that's doubled the price before or related to him because their addresses are like, doing things to each other. So people don't, $5 billion of Bitcoin keys were used to mint their HEX. Those guys have money. They have $5 billion of money. They could FOMO, they could go to bridge.renproject.io and turn that BTC into HEX like that with no AML, no KYC, no sign up. And so people are thinking about this big payday like, oh my God, the price might go down. And you're like, first of all, the price has gone down a shitload of times. That's what it does. It's gone down 85%, 70%, 70%, 60%. You're like, yeah, that's fine. It's made to do that. It's giving people the opportunity to buy tops to sell bottoms. Well, who makes that profit that those guys lost? Somebody else in the ecosystem, people usually with longer investment horizons. And then it went on to make new all-time highs after every single one of those.
So the numbers with this whole thing are just so crazy to me. That's why, like, people will notice in this video, I'm just like shaking my head because we talked right when this was launching, and people had questions about it. I had questions about it. I still am waiting to see what's going to happen, at the big payday and things like that. But the numbers that you
what is the worst thing that could happen? The price goes down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's done that over and over again.
It would have to go down.
As long as you've got guys buying something and locking it up for 15 years, nothing else matters. Nothing matters because it's like miraculous. You wouldn't even think it was possible. Like when it happened, you don't even believe it. Like, I was shocked. I was just staring at the chart like, what the just happened? Bug? Is there an error? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then you start clicking through people's wallets and you're like, these guys are all flush with ETH, man. Flush. Just 20 million here, 30 million there, 70 million there. You're like, yeah, man. Like, and they believe. Wallets. So there's never been anything in history that I'm aware of in any financial product where people have shown this much provable long-term belief in something. I don't think anything has ever existed like this.
Well, I think you're probably right. I'm trying to think of something offhand. I can't really come up with something. But
I think if you get like bonds, you can just sell them whenever you want. You're like, oh, I got a T-bill. All right, well, you can sell it. You get a mortgage, you can sell it. You get a CD, you can get out of your CD. You stake your HEX for 15 years, you're not selling without losing all of your interest on year 7.5. You sell before 7.5, you're getting murdered with penalties. Yeah. Above and beyond your interest, you're getting hit in principal. Gets paid to the other stakers. So, and by the way, so I copied what works in the real world. So the pay 20% every extra length of stake by 1 year, the pay 20% per year thing, that comes right from CDs. I just looked at the CD chart and I said, all right, well, how much does the interest increase from 1 year to 2 year to 3 or 4 or 5 year CDs? Just copied it. And then that mechanic of penalizing people for early withdrawals, just copied it, right? Like, I just copied what I know works for 7.2 trillion deposits, 7.2 trillion USD. That's 50%
Were you the
more
first
than
person
printed money.
Were you the first person in crypto to do that?
Yes.
Because
it's just funny to me because, like, if you want to
speaking
replace
of copying,
banks,
Yeah, like
You got to replace all their products. If you want to replace banks, you got to replace all their products.
Yeah, for sure.
Bitcoin tried to do currency, failed, but it did something more valuable, which is store value. Well, Hex does store value better. It's just like Bitcoin's the blue chip, but it dropped 65% in 2 weeks when COVID hit, and Hex went up. And you're like, well, there goes your decorrelated narrative, right? For Bitcoin, it's obviously correlated. It's a risk on asset.
Well, speaking of copying, I think this is really interesting because as you know, a lot of people called you a scammer when this thing first started.
They still do. They're retarded. They don't understand they lost.
Yeah. I am in on Hex personally from actually you gave me some like $350 worth at some point when we did a video together. After the video, you're like, just try it out, just check it out. It's crazy how much it's worth right now.
Says you. But someone surely gave you some. I wouldn't doubt it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the point is that it's crazy. Like I've been watching it and looking at it.
What's it worth now?
$56,000.
$56,000.
Well, let me rephrase that. At the big payday in a few days, when that hits, the amount that I will get from the big payday is worth $56,000. Right now, if I were to withdraw it, I think it's $27,000 or something like that. So it's really, really nuts. Cool. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. And so like, I'm really interested in it. Obviously for personal reasons, like, hey, I'm up infinite X right now on that. But you know what everybody says? Everybody said, call you a scammer, still do, yada, yada, yada. But what's interesting is it seems like a lot of DeFi projects kind of try to copy what you guys are doing.
Ethereum is trying to copy us.
Yeah.
Ethereum itself is trying to copy us. Ethereum is trying to build coin burning with the IP 1559. We already have coin burning.
Yeah.
Ethereum itself is trying to get people to lock up their coins for interest. We already have that. Ethereum is trying to copy us. It's hilarious.
And
people don't get it. They just don't understand. Like I can't hammer the information in their head. They're just oblivious.
Like all these deflationary mechanisms you're talking about with, you're talking about earlier when, you guys burn coins, and I lost my train of thought. Forgot exactly what specifically you said that triggered that thought. But a lot of these, the penalties for withdrawing.
Oh yeah. So there's
a lot of projects are doing that now.
Smart. I mean, it's a genius mechanic that I think I invented. So, well, I mean, I kind of copied the early withdrawal penalty from banks. The late claim, the late end stake one is new. So 1.2 billion HEX has been given in penalty, has been charged in penalties. Guess what? That half of that, 600 million, goes to the staker class, to the people that did what they said they were going to do. The truth engine, I call it. The people that didn't do what they said they were going to do, and emergency end staked, usually not because there's any real emergency, but probably just because they're greedy and want to take profit, or fearful and want to take profit, or call it whatever you want. There's a dump, so people start selling, stakers make money. There's a pump, so people start selling, stakers make money.
It's interesting.
And in Bitcoin, when there's a dump, you're not getting paid any extra Bitcoin. It just sucks the whole way down. So like Hex is the only coin I know of that you're making money, you're getting paid to hold when there's a dump. It's awesome. And when people wonder, like, so what's the fear everybody has about things that go up a lot in value? They won't get out at the right time.
Yeah.
Well,
legitimate fear for sure.
Well, in Bitcoin, when it dropped 65% in 2 weeks, if you only had a 2-week investment horizon, you just got. So yes, in any speculative instrument, timing is super important, and volatility as well, which is why we talk about it on the homepage of the front. We talk about Bitcoin going down 85% again and again and again. Nobody else. We talk about flash crashes to zero on the homepage. Nobody else in crypto has the balls to do it. HEX.com is the only website in crypto that has the balls to talk about the going to zero right on the homepage. You go to bitcoin.org, they pretend the price don't even exist. They don't talk about, like, Hex is more honest than any other project out there, but people just don't realize it. They see that it talks about price and they turn their brains off. This is hilarious to me. So that 1.2 billion of penalties, of which 600 million got paid to the other stakers, that's people taking profit, right? So when you're like, hey, can you sell this shit? You're like, how do you think we get 70% dips multiple times? By people selling the fuck out of it. Like, there's no like, yes, people take out profit all the time, and that's why the shit dips has dipped as often as it has, and then it goes and makes new all-time highs again. So it's like, in HEX, it looks like a lot of these dips have been wonderful buying opportunities. And in most of crypto, really, if you have product market fit, how many people are down on their Bitcoin purchase? I think there was only 1 week in history that you could have possibly bought higher than today's price. So if you just shut the fuck up and held and didn't get shaken out and didn't try and trade, almost anyone that's ever bought Bitcoin ever, 99+% is in the green.
Yeah.
And only like this tiny little sliver of time that you had to buy over 16K back at the end of 2017. So, I mechanized that. I weaponized that. I monetized that. The only two types of people that get rich in crypto are holders and founders of currencies and founders of exchanges. So founders and holders, that's it.
And YouTubers.
Traders get annihilated.
And don't leave YouTubers out.
Yeah.
Don't leave them out.
Yeah.
You're one of them.
All right.
So listen, here's the thing. When it comes to this big payday, I'm like listening to everything you're saying, and it's all making a lot of sense to me because I've had those feelings of looking at how much I was going to get by continuing to stake until the big payday or whatever the case.
Yeah.
And it was like there was one time where I was like, well, I could just take it out right now. It was worth like 10 grand, I think. And I was like, well, why would I possibly do that? Like, I'd rather just kind of hold on and see what happens. And now we've, made it through some of those times where people were pulling out the profits. And now like I'm seeing so close to seeing the results of, waiting and being patient, and like that feeling of looking at those numbers and hesitating. I feel like that's probably what a lot of people do. And then you've got the other people that kind of panic and they're like, oh God, this is at least some money. I need it. Let me pull it out.
Well, we could look back at the chart. It's all on chain. So when people up and like sell and then have to rebuy higher, you just watch it happen. So there's this app called Staker.app that came out for HEX. It's on Android and iOS. You can literally click someone's address and see them winning or losing, when they bought, when they sold, how much, if they're up, if they're down, when their stakes are ending. It's like, so I try and get everyone not to trade because everybody loses their money trading. But if you are a trader, you have tools in HEX that you've never seen before in your entire life. You can see if people have loans. You can see when their stakes are expiring. You can see if they have stakes. You can see what other coins they're holding. You can see where their money came from. You don't know who their names are, but it's all on chain. It's the most open and transparent trading in the world. And it's extremely liquid. So HEX's liquidity used to be, we made the Uniswap popular. HEX was 40% of Uniswap's trading volume and liquidity for a long time.
Wow.
And, now it's still top 18 or 19 liquidity. And their liquidity is being subsidized. So they have oversized Ethereum and wrapped Bitcoin and USDC volume because it's being subsidized by this uni token. And HEX is still top 18. And by the way, the liquidity's gone up. So if you go to uniswap.info and you click liquidity, you can see the chart. It goes up. And, it tends to go up when the price of Ethereum goes up. And then, people get rug pulled all the time, right? So they'll buy a coin and they'll be feeling really rich.
Myself. Yeah.
And they'll go to sell it. And then there's nobody buying. And this is at zero, right? Well, if you look at the liquidity on the HEX ETH pair, it's been going up for a long ass time. Oh, 70% dip. Who gives a fuck? Yeah. Liquidity's still there.
Liquidity's not an issue with HEX at all. Yeah.
I don't think so. And people have this misunderstanding, right? They're like, oh my God, there needs to be, the market cap's like what, 5 billion? Okay, there needs to be like 100 billion of liquidity there, because they're just idiots. Like, they don't understand anything about markets. Like, okay, let's do that experiment, right? Houses have values, right? Okay. Is there a liquidity pool, an order book for houses sitting somewhere where there's a bunch of liquid house bids just waiting? No. But bro, who's going to buy your fucking house, bro? There's no order book full of bids waiting for your house. No, that's not the way markets work. The people are just stupid. Go add up Bitcoin, add up its bid side support, right? You can go to bitcoinity.org and click the combined order book and add up the bid support. and then see how it compares to the market cap. Every market in the world has market caps vastly in excess of what the bid support is, period. Because it wouldn't be capital efficient, right? Like if everyone had to just take all of their capital and sit it dormant in an order book.
Yeah, of course.
You wouldn't have efficient markets anywhere. But people are so fucking stupid. They're like, I have to spoon feed them everything. I have to teach them every fucking thing because they're all so dumb. I do this shit on videos, guys. Like if I'm saying things that you don't understand, it's because you haven't watched my videos. Just fucking watch them. Like,
well, you're either incredibly intelligent or absolutely insane. I don't think there's anything in the middle. I think that's it. There's one or the other.
Decades.
What's
I retired the year 2003. I've been winning for decades. I was a retired millionaire, self-made before Bitcoin was invented. About 10 years before Bitcoin was invented.
I think I saw a picture of you. You had longer hair.
Well, that was only like that was in 2006. So when I retired, I wanted to start supporting anti-aging charities like Vitalik, the same charity that he gave a few $1 million to.
Yeah,
I was volunteering for them back in 2006. It's called the Strategies for Engineered Negligible Senescence, the SENS Foundation, which had a partner organization at the time called the Methuselah Foundation that operated the mprize.org, which was a prize that gave out, a couple $1 million for making older mice. And I thought, well, if I want to support longevity charities, I don't want to look like a young kid. I was only 25 at the time. So maybe I was 26 at the time. And I was like, well, I want to look older. So I grew up my beard and I grew up my hair. And then I just found it was really hard. Like no one wants to hear about that particular charity. They just can't give a, they hate the concept of anti-aging medicine. And you're like, well, that sucks, And then I just started traveling and having fun instead because it was so not rewarding to try and promote that. Yeah, I'm going to go fight that fight again because I wrote a book called Sci-Vive to try and get people to invest in medicine again. And I got it back from the editor a few months ago. And, once HEX starts getting viral, I'm going to pivot. So once HEX is doing the viral thing, like, yeah, it's top 10 market cap now. That's cool. But I think it can do a lot better. I think it can go top 1 market cap. Once I see it getting mainstream press and, right now I've got maybe 20, 30 YouTube or something, maybe 200, 300 YouTube or something like that. Then I can focus on Sci-Vive instead of just HEX,
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that would like for you not to focus on HEX. A lot of people, a lot of critics.
Well, it's weird because the rising tide rises all ships. How many Ethereum wallets did I personally get installed? How much did I push up the price of Ethereum personally with my hard effort?
That's pretty braggadocious. I like that. I like it.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real.
Tens of thousands of Ethereum wallets were installed because of me. I am the one who popularized Uniswap. Me, personally. I made Uniswap popular. Was all of the fucking tweets. I was all of the promotion. More than their founders by far, right? Are people giving me credit? Yes, some are, thank God.
But, the humble hero we never deserved.
I ain't humble. I'm fat, I'm old, but I'm rich and good at it, so.
Oh man, I love it. Okay, so let's talk about when it comes to next steps for people that are in HEX with this big payday. What would your advice be to people as this day gets closer? What should they be thinking? What should they be looking at? What's the direction here for people? Because this is the day they've looked forward to, a lot of people. But the price may not go down. It may go up. It may go up way higher than that.
I don't think anyone could possibly know.
Yeah.
This really is the decisions of single individuals with big holdings. If Mr. 64 million sitting
what about
in
married
his wallet,
guys?
Say again?
What about married people though? You said just single people.
Well, good one.
Yeah,
individuals can choose to double the price or 10x the price at will with the press of a finger. And they can also choose to nuke the price by 90% with the click of a finger. And they're both on the menu and you could see both of them. So there is no way. I have never been able to predict that someone was going to just 2x the price in a candle. And I've never been able to predict that someone was going to emergency end stake and dump a whole shitload. And I don't know how anyone else could possibly. Now we've got a guy named Silver the Antidote. He does chain analysis out his ass. He looks up every single guy that traded over 10,000 in the last week. And he goes through every one of their wallets and sees, are they a trader? Are they a holder? Do they have stakes? Does it look like they're trying to get out? This guy goes through everything. So, and I even have a video on how to do what he's doing. If you want a tutorial on it, it's on hex.com. Just scroll down to the speculative stickiness one. And it'll show you how to do all the chain analysis to analyze who's winning and who's losing doing trades. So I don't think anyone is able to predict what the price is going to do in the short term. And I can tell you that if you look at Bitcoin, you know, I just published a chart today where Bitcoin went and broke through the 1170 all-time high. It was down for 3 years, you know, broke through the 1170 all-time high, and then, you know, goes through a bit. You're like, all right, it's real. Maybe there'll be a retest. I'll buy the retest. Never retested. Never went back down to 1170 again. Lowest it ever got was 3,000. So there's guys, I bet you, that have been sitting with limit orders at like 1150 for the last, you know, 4 years. And the price is now 14 times higher. So right now the price is 14 times higher, and you never got to buy that retest of 1170. And so this idea that in crypto that it's safe to like get out and try and rebuy lower, it's actually extremely dangerous, because
I tell people this all the time.
Yeah. The market will leave you behind the majority of price moves. So if you look at Bitcoin, the majority of days it's actually down. But on the days that it goes up so hard that it makes up for all the down days. And so you'll get like 80% of a year's move in 10 days, 10 individual days of a year. And if you're not in those 10 days, you could end up down on something that's going up like crazy.
Yeah. People that are newer in crypto, like what I found is that they'll try to do things that they hear traders talk about, like, oh, I'm going to tether off, or I'm going to jump in this, I'm going to do this. And oftentimes they're doing the opposite of what they should be doing. You know, when they're feeling fearful and they want to jump out, that's usually when the price is going to turn around and go the other way. And then, you know, it works the opposite direction too. I've seen people lose way more money trying to go to a stable coin than if they would have just held.
Bitcoin's up 1.6 million X in about 11 years.
Yeah.
Nobody else did that. The buy and hold guys that just held and forgot they even owned Bitcoin beat everyone else's ass. And all the guys that thought they were smart, Adamant Capital and Willy Woo and Turdemeister, wrecked, bankrupt, gone, no longer in the business. And those were the smart guys.
Yeah.
And who beat them? People holding nearly anything. Nearly anything. If it's in the top 10 right now and you just held it, if you held Dogecoin, you beat those guys. And by the way, as far as like that blue chip, Bitcoin dropped 85%, Dogecoin and ETH dropped 95%. Really that big a difference?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah,
basically
a
little bit of difference.
Bitcoin goes down 85% and the other ones drop somewhere between 90 and 95. You know, sometimes that's like the average.
So like,
97 is a bad performer. If it went down 97% or more, you're like, oh, that one's a little worse than the other ones in general. Like Icon and Dragon Chain, those ones got absolutely crushed.
Things with no product market fit should cease to exist. Just like IOTA. If a single guy can decide to just turn off the network for a few months, turn it off and leave it off, bro. Please, just leave it off. You know, if you're losing your users' private keys because your wallet that you sent them was hacked, shut it down. Turn it off. Like, people don't learn. I warned people about that years ago. I was right. They were wrong. This happens again and again and again and again. I'm always fucking right. It's just crazy. Like, I only had to change opinions on like 2 things. Ethereum used to suck. It stopped sucking, right? It used to be centralized, and you know, the carbon vote was just won by default, right? And they forked the chain. They can't do any of that anymore. There's proof that they can't. Well, okay, got to update your worldview. Then, you know, 7 of the 11 top market cap cryptocurrencies were launched on or primarily use Ethereum. You're like, okay, well, let's list them. Ethereum itself, USDT, BNB, TRX, EOS. I think Polkadot had a crowd sale in ETH and raised the majority of their money that way. I think even Tezos may have done that as well. So you're at like $7 billion coins. Oh yeah, HEX. HEX is up in 5B, so now that's 8. And Uni was over $1 billion, so we're at 9.
Cardano.
Say again?
Cardano.
I'm not sure if it was. It may have been. So you're like, how many $1 billion projects that have no problems at all with the ERC20 do you want to see? You're like, man, let's do that. And I chose the right ecosystem. And because I chose the right ecosystem, we got millions of dollars of free money from the Uni token. Because HEX users popularized it, we had thousands and thousands of addresses that
And
were
then
using
you invented
for HEX.
Uniswap. I mean, crazy, you know?
They handed out millions upon millions of dollars to HEX holders for free.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I told everyone how to sell it. Price was, I think, $6 when I told everyone to sell it. Now the price is $3. You're welcome, guys. Maybe the price is at $4 now. Maybe.
Richard, your confidence is so easy to love.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
A lot of people like that, I think. That's why people attack you all the time. And I can relate. Yeah, I can relate.
I'm just going to wear the chart as a shirt. And literally the next time I go to a conference, I'm going to change this shirt out for the chart and be like, what bags do you hold? Yeah, that's that flat line down here. That's your bags. Like Charlie Lee, that little bitch. Charlie Lee, when HEX launched, that little bitch, he said HEX is a scam. Okay, Charlie Lee, mother. Yeah, HEX is a scam. You don't know nothing about it. Fine. Bro. All right, come out like that.
I like this.
10 months, 11 months later. Yo, Charlie Lee, I ain't seen you in a while. My coin is up 70x over your coin. How about an apology? How about that? Oh, and my coin has a higher market cap than yours too. So fuck yourself. Like, this is just insane. How are you going to come out and call my amazing world-changing shit a scam and then dump on all your followers' fucking heads, lie about getting developed, and come at me?
No lies were told here.
I'm the guy with the self-help YouTube channel that teaches people how to stop playing poker and stop gambling and stop trading. What are you doing, mother? Dumping on people? Like, it's unbelievable to me. You know how many millions of dollars of free money I gave to Bitcoin holders? And then they talk at me. Where's my free money talking to people? Give me free money. Work hard to give me free money. No, they just.
What's
the changing lives, and these guys just, you know.
What is the point where, like, HEX holders make enough money to where people say, "Oh, well, maybe he was right." Where's that point at, you think?
You know what? To tell you the truth, I'm getting to the point where I don't give a fuck what anyone else is doing. Right? It's like, okay, CoinMarketCap wants to force us onto page 3, even though $5 billion of Bitcoin holders minted their HEX in the contract, even though everything else around us has failed. Tons of those motherfuckers put on the homepage has failed, like Yams, etc. Gone to zero.
Yeah, I forgot all about
it. Why is all this shit going to zero, getting ranked, and HEX ain't at 100% uptime? Why? Because it's corrupt. Bullshit is why. It's corrupt and it's disgusting. So you know what? If this system wants to stay corrupt, I'm better at business than these people are. I'm just focused on different shit right now. So they want to see me put together an office and do their businesses better than them. Well, fine. Okay. I'll do it just to spite you, motherfuckers, because this is glory for me anyway. My lifestyle hasn't changed. Here's what I got. Here's my lifestyle change. I got a new pillow. Dang. So I'm in it for the glory, right?
Yeah.
So when these people want to gatekeep and like stand in the way, we just do what they're doing better than them, right? Like TradingView didn't have charts. So guess what? We're the people that were the first people in the world to put Uniswap things on charts. We did that, right? Coin Paprika, they don't know how to read an order book and say how much liquidity is in Uniswap. So our developers go and decipher the algorithm to generate a pseudo order book so that they can decipher order book depth for all Uniswap pairs. We did that. Like the HEX community keeps improving all this other open source, sometimes behind the scenes, because we don't want to get gate kept. We want our shit to get merged. And you know, anybody that wants to stand in the way is just going to get routed around.
You sound like a gangster NASCAR driver.
Well,
you're thinking your team, you know, they're doing good. They're developing your sponsors.
Well, it's the community. I will run you over. Staker.app, I don't have shit to do with it. Hexinfo.io, hex-data.com, hex.vision.
I feel like they're all the same link.
I don't have anything to do with it.
I feel like they're all the same link when I look at them. I can't tell any of them apart.
Oh, dude, they're wild.
Just combine the word hex dot win stake, and you will probably end up at a place that has X on it. If you just
we have the best stats in all of crypto, literally. Yeah. There is no other cryptocurrency in history that has ever given you a more in-depth view of what the is going on inside it. You can see, if you go to hex.vision and you look up on the top left, there's the wall of shame that shows the penalties, who paid them, how much they paid, when they got paid. There's the chart of future expiring end stakes. So you can time yours to be when other people's aren't ending. There's the adoption amplifier that shows you everyone that put money into the adoption amplifier that day and their addresses and when else they put in. There's like, if you go to hex-data.com, there's a list of all the referrers and who made the most money on referrals. If you go to hex.live, you can see who's making money trading, who's losing money trading, real-time live feed trades with a rank of where you sit amongst all the other stakers, because you're ranked by your shares. And they have funny names for different levels. And then you've got gamification of what level you're in. We got fucking everything. Like do you have any of that shit in Bitcoin? You don't have any of it. You don't have expiring stakes. You don't have fucking profitable time locks.
Bitcoin
You don't have
much, really.
trading analysis. You got nothing. You literally just have hash rate and you have price.
Well, you know what's really cool about it though is like if you take the logo and flip it backwards and then put it together, it makes a cool BitBoy logo.
What makes a Bitcoin logo?
BitBoy, the BitBoy logo.
Oh,
right, you see?
Oh, okay.
It's a Bitcoin and another Bitcoin back to back, like a mirror image. That's the best thing that Bitcoin's done this year,
dude.
I mean, the price is
block
okay.
Size increase. No, like Ethereum is Bitcoin's layer 2. Yeah. There's billions of dollars of Bitcoin locked in Ethereum now. There's not even a single billion in the Lightning Network. I don't even think there's 200 million in the Lightning Network.
Actually. My gosh.
Yeah, and it's getting critical vulnerabilities all the fucking time. So Ethereum is Bitcoin's layer 2. Ethereum is where all the trading of stablecoins is, which is the majority of volume in crypto.
60% of trading. I think it's like 3% of the market and 60% of trading.
Yeah, like Ethereum is where all that stuff is, and you're just like, Bitcoin.
I think Ethereum eventually is definitely going to pass Bitcoin. Like I think it is.
I wouldn't mind that at all. I think that if the market values
10 to 15 years
more secure, it's a more secure system. It's got a better mining ecosystem. You can mine it, but if you want to mine Bitcoin, you got to send money to some weird centralized ASIC manufacturer. It's got a plan that if the miners start to suck, they can switch the proof of work. Test it already, ready to roll out. It's called Prog POW. Does Bitcoin have a plan to rotate proof of work if the miners start to suck harder?
Bitcoin, let me tell you what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin, the people behind Bitcoin, the developers, they just want to hold on to a dream that just isn't reality. And they just keep wanting to hold. But however, their confirmation bias is like nonstop because of the price. Like it continues to be number one, first mover advantage. Ethereum is actually, even in the crazy run Ethereum's had over the last couple of months, it still has not even gotten back to 3% of the Bitcoin price. At the peak, it was 10%, so like it hasn't even came close to recovering. I think a lot of that feeds into these, I hate the maxis. Like they're my sworn enemy. I will never be a Bitcoin maximalist, not because I don't think Bitcoin's good, but because I hate the people. Like I really cannot stand listen to these people.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. I do. I mean, let me put it this way. People think because Bitcoin's coming up to maybe doing a new all-time high again, and I really hope it does. The rising tide rises all ships. I hope everybody in the world that isn't going to buy HEX for whatever dumb reason, I hope they buy Bitcoin or Ethereum. Go ahead, guys, do it. Because when the other guys that are going to buy HEX go to sell their Bitcoin or Ethereum, I want them to get more money for that. So that then more money can go into HEX. So the more valuable Bitcoin is, the more valuable Ethereum is, the more money those guys have to sell it for HEX. So I want the prices to go high.
They will.
The chart doesn't lie. And in 2020, Bitcoin's not even in the top 5 performers. Not even in the top 5 of top market cap performers. Ethereum has shit on it. HEX has shit on it. Chainlink has shit on it. Monero has shit on it. Like the top 10 market cap coins are all beating the fuck out of Bitcoin since 2020. It's not even, so they're like, you ever see that JPEG where there's like a guy with a necklace on, like a pendant, like he just won the Olympics, and he's shaking the champagne and this girl about to kiss him. Then it zooms out and he's standing on 3rd place, and the 2 guys are like, well, that's what Bitcoin is doing right now. It's like, hey guys, wow, you're up 90% this year. Yeah. That's great. That's really good. HEX was up 26,000% this year. Ethereum has been up like 300 or 400% this year.
You're relentless with the self-promotion.
Good job on that 90%, guys. Good job on that.
Richard, I feel like you're the spirit animal of me. Like, I tell you what, you really, the way that you talk about yourself and the things you've done, like it really makes me feel like I'm looking in a mirror sometimes, not looks wise.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh man.
And the way that we're cussing at people and telling them to come at you. I like that too.
If you want to predict the future, build it.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Just go do it. Because
I'm looking at this chart right now that
it's hard not to be skeptical, like from my perspective on what you were doing. Because
You got to know
It's
when you're wrong.
It's meme culture. It's what everybody says. At least I was open-minded enough to have you on and talk neutrally about it. I didn't feel comfortable like really shilling it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the question is why? That's the thing, right? Like why?
Yeah.
I've been a serial winner my whole life. I've never given anyone
exactly
even a bad deal, which is the reason that when
you know, it's just like attack when people start down one way of thinking, you know, and people start jumping on board, and they start saying stuff, and then other people echo it. And before you know it, nobody even remembers how it started, but it's just the thing, you know. And I've seen it personally with things that have happened to me in my social media career since I've been in crypto, that like I didn't even do something. Like I literally had nothing to do with what they were attacking me for, and it blew up into this big thing, and I didn't even do anything, you know. But you couldn't convince anybody of the truth, you know, and really like only you know the truth about a lot of stuff, you know.
Well, like some shit's so obvious. If people get scammed on the internet, you know what they do? They complain really, really, really loudly.
Mm-hmm.
And they fucking say, my name is X and I got fucked by this guy and I want my money back. They say shit like that.
Yeah.
Who in the history of Earth has ever got scammed by me? Who? Everybody that's ever done business with me has gotten a good deal. My car stereo store, my mortgage company, my cryptocurrency, you name it. Everybody's getting a good deal. Which is why there's not a single human being that's ever posted on any thread anywhere that says, my name is X and this dude fucked me and here's how. It's never happened. Never, ever.
It's glad crazy to hear you've never, never mind. I will just stop there. Your candle guy, he's really happy with you.
You know, I don't like him. I don't like lighting them because the wax goes everywhere. I want to clean that shit up.
What happened? What happened to the weird hat and that?
It's right here.
Kind of sideshow look.
It's right there. Just makes your head sweat, and these lights are hot. I got a big chandelier here.
I like the chill T-shirt.
24 bulbs or
Richard
something.
better. I like that better than the sideshow character look. It's good.
Man, if you want, but like, what's popular? Branding and shit, right? So if you're a fat old guy, really, since you're not going to look all fit and Instagram style, you're going to have to spice it up some other way. So I choose to spice it up. You know, I live in a cool place that has cool shit. So, okay, that looks cool. And then I used to wear cool shit, but then I just kind of got bored with it. And I just wear this HEX stuff.
Yeah.
Not to mention I put on some weight and most of that shit don't fit. So kind of need to go shopping. I remember back when I was in the XLs and then the 2XLs and now I'm in the 3XLs. So.
Ooh, so that's the 2XL to the triple XL. That's because I go back between the double XL and the XL, and even the double XL. When I find myself just being comfortable wearing those, I'm like, it's time. I got to go back down.
The problem is your belly keeps getting bigger. So you keep getting bigger shirts, but then the armpits start getting baggy because they don't know which direction you're growing. They just kind of grow the whole shirt. So then you get out of proportion.
Yeah.
I'm at the level where I should just have everything custom tailored anyway. Like I should have HEX.
I'm all for that.
Everything.
Yeah. A HEX jogger. I mean, like just a windbreaker, like, you know, like the full jogging suit.
Louis Vuitton has a Louis Vuitton print. Gucci has a Gucci print. I actually have a HEX print. I've seen other people do it. You know, it just needs refined a little bit because they're like sticking them right on top of each other and they're busy. So they need to be spaced out a little bit. And I got to choose something to be in between them, another symbol of some sort. I've put thought into it.
I see that. I think at the end of the day, there's just a lot of interest in this project one way or the other. And, you know, people are either super hot on it or super cold on it. And that's definitely a good thing for, you know, attention. And
it's so
definitely
good.
Got that for sure. You know, I don't think anyone's neutral on HEX. Nobody's like, oh, it's a thing. You know, everybody's like scammer, or they're like, you know, I'm rich. I made all this money. Like it's one or the other. I mean, there's not a lot in the middle.
So let's look at it like this. If you were going to design the dream cryptocurrency, the dream that did everything, what features would you want? Well, you'd want high throughput. Okay, we have that. zksync.io. You can do 2,000 transactions per second, 10 times cheaper than mainnet. We're the first coin in the world to do a 250,000 address airdrop on layer 2. Vitalik had been begging everyone to use layer 2. HEX actually went and did it for him. Just like we popularized Uniswap, we were the first people to use L2 the right way. Okay. What else would you want? All right. So we got scalability covered. Okay. Well, we want trustlessness. So no admin keys, no off switch, no pause switch, no oracles where some guy running a server can fuck everything up by just changing a number. All right, we got that. Does anyone else in DeFi have that? Pretty much no, except for Uniswap. Oh, and what do you know? The majority of our liquidity and trading volume is on Uniswap, which can't be turned off, can't be shut off, can't exit scam you like OKX that hasn't done withdrawals in 4 weeks. It's got 300,000 Bitcoin. It's about 5 billion. Oops. KuCoin hacked. Binance hacked. OKX founders arrested. BitMEX founders arrested. HEX kicking ass every day. Bow the fuck down. Bow. It's that easy. Everyone else needs to eat it for doing a bad job. Everybody else. And they need to give credit to the people that are doing a great job, which is HEX and the Hexagon community. And that's a small subset of the failures.
What did you say to the SEC when they showed up at your house?
When they shut down who?
When they showed up at your house.
Well, I don't think that they have jurisdiction where I live, and I think they only regulate securities.
But have they not shown up at your house yet?
They're never going to.
Okay.
It's like, so
because I was told that they were coming by people on Twitter at one point for sure.
No, they're retarded. Everyone's retarded. I support the SEC. I support what the SEC does. The SEC tries to help people not get scammed. Yeah. So how do they do that? By making people give proper disclosures, by trying to prevent conflicts of interest, and by making sure that the people that are investing in things understand what's going on, right? Sometimes it's an accredited investor thing. Sometimes it's a Reg A+, you name it, right? So they try really hard to make people not get scammed. But they don't regulate all activities of humans. There's a lot of activities that humans perform that the SEC has nothing to do with. For instance, if you have a job and you get paid for working, the SEC doesn't have anything to do with that. There's another department that gets their fingers in that. If you have a work from home business, the SEC doesn't have anything to do with that. So if you're a Bitcoin miner and you mine your own Bitcoin, you mint your own money out of thin air, what does the SEC have to do with that? Absolutely nothing. It's the fruit of your labor, like painting a painting. Does the SEC regulate painting paintings? No, it doesn't. Does the SEC regulate Bitcoin mining? No, it doesn't. Does the SEC regulate HEX minting? Nope, it doesn't, because you're the one doing all the work. So
what about their Twitter investigative team? Because a lot of times people on Twitter have tagged them and told the SEC that they were officially reporting me as a scammer to the SEC.
Oh, I'm ahead of you on that, bro.
What's that?
You're not even anywhere close on that. I've had multiple times entire front page our cryptocurrency Reddit threads on direct instructions on how to report me to the SEC with addresses.
Like, what do these people
think?
And you're like, they think the SEC is like sitting there like, oh yeah, here's some random guy on Twitter that's talking about a guy he's never met. Like, yeah, this will be legit. I'm going to start an investigation. That's not what they're going to say. That's not how it works.
Well, no, dude. If you look at comments, everyone says Joe Biden's a pedophile, and then everyone says Trump's a pedophile, and then everybody says everybody's a pedophile. Like, comments are basically like, if you read YouTube comments or Twitter comments, it's not exactly hell, but it's purgatory, basically.
It is.
It's not how you would want to spend your life.
It's always on eggshells. Like, what's the next one? Because I'll go click my notifications on Twitter sometimes. A lot of times I don't even look. Sometimes I'll check it and I'll just scroll down like 2 swipes, just kind of see what's there, and then I'll.
I think that in this particular case, the Twitter psychopaths are actually right pretty often, because there is a lot of unregistered securities in cryptocurrency. I see them all the time, constantly. If you give your money to a common pool with the expectation of profits solely from the work of others, it's a security. And I could list you a whole lot in cryptocurrency that functions that way. Yeah, a whole lot. IOTA would be one of those things.
Well,
so
I think
one guy
can
turn the network on and off at will.
I think almost all cryptocurrencies, like especially the ones that were launched in 2016, 2017, they pretty much all fit that description. It's just it's like, okay, but there wasn't this regulation, and there's too much for them to attack to try to weed out all these projects. So at some point, they're just going to have, the regulators are going to have to throw their hands up and say like, okay, you didn't start out the right way, but you're grandfathered in because there's 3,000 other currencies that did the same thing,
I don't like that particular argument. I don't like there's so many people committing crimes that law enforcement will stop argument. But what I do think is that they just don't have the bandwidth. They don't have the bandwidth to Well, no,
come
but
after.
They
They're excruciatingly long
rule.
investigations. You know, that stuff doesn't happen overnight. You know, it takes a lot of manpower to, you know, come after one of these companies. I don't think the SEC is very big either.
But like, why don't we just stop breaking the law then, right? Like, why doesn't everyone stop doing stupid? Like, instead, all you need is sufficient decentralization, and to not have people working for the profit of others. Like, Bitcoin works fine without those things. Other cryptocurrencies work fine without those things. You don't need to have those things that cause you to violate law in your project. And it not only does removing those things prevent you from getting up from a legal perspective, but it improves the project, because the only reason cryptocurrency exists is to get rid of counterparty risk. It's the only reason it exists. So when you reintroduce counterparty risk to cryptocurrencies, you're doing the exact opposite of why crypto exists in the first place. So you'll have better projects with less counterparty risk and less failures and enhanced compliance. It's a win-win for everybody. HEX runs wonderfully fine with nobody running it. If I died and go.hex.com and hex.com all went offline right now, there's 10 other websites you can go to. Yeah. You can go to backuphex.com or hardhex.xyz or hexmob.win or Staker.app or etherscan.io.
Hex dash literally pick any word.com.
Well, I mean, there's maybe 10 of them, but like, it's take other projects, right? Other DeFi projects, admin keys. He can steal all the money whenever he wants.
Yeah.
Oracles, they can change the price and win trades that were they're long and shorting it will, right? And they'll win more than you would have slashed their security bond. Okay. What about, what if the front end goes down? Do you know how to like use the Etherscan write contract feature? And do you understand how to do it? There's no guide. Oh, well, I guess you're then. So, these fake dApps that have you enter your seed words, lose all your money. Mm-hmm. Fake dApps that have you authorize the contract to spend your money and has an allowance, steals all your money. No. Hex doesn't have an allowance. When you go to hex.com, you never authorize to spend on your behalf, period. It's awesome. It's better.
But here's what you did do. You did make the amount of hex that people got for putting in, or I'm not saying you did it, but hex did, for putting the Ethereum in, they got a much higher value, a much higher reward than if they just got it for free, like a snapshot from Bitcoin, you know, of their holdings.
Obviously.
And I'm being a little facetious here, but I mean, that's what people said, you know, that was one of the things.
I'm sorry the free money wasn't free enough. I'm sorry the millions and millions and millions of free dollars wasn't enough for you guys. How about you make some coins and let me free claim those shits? Everybody else that wants to go make a free coin and give out, like, I understand better than anybody else.
We need to make that. Somebody needs to make bits.
Go look at BCH's price chart. BCH is making new all-time lows, multi-year all-time lows versus Bitcoin right now. Why? Why is it doing that? It's got more development than Bitcoin. Why is it making new all-time lows? Because they gave coins to a bunch of people that didn't deserve them.
Yeah.
They gave 140,000, rather 180,000 Bitcoin cash to the Mt. Gox trustee, who by law could only dump them on their heads.
Yeah.
Oops. Why would you do that? Stupid.
Is he gone
and now?
He's
pay
gone,
for it
right?
Forever.
Did they get rid of all them? Did they get rid of all those extra Bitcoin?
No, they're still sitting on 140K. They got 140,000 Bitcoin. They got 140,000 Bitcoin cash.
We haven't even heard.
If they cared around and claim more, they could have more stuff too.
Oh, trusty.
They could claim all the forks, right? They can't claim Hex. Why? Because I'm smarter. I removed the from the UTXO set. He can't claim. Mt. Gox can't claim Hex because I'm smarter, which is why our price chart looks awesome. And the Uni price chart looks like death. Uni launched, right? Up to $8 over 2 days and straight down like a Nike symbol forevermore. Occasional boop.
I was fortunate enough to have 6 addresses with the airdrop and
nice, dude. Good one.
Sold it all at the top. Yeah. So I don't know if you've heard about this new decentralized exchange, bitswapdex.io. It's going to blow Uniswap away. Okay. It's actually, it crawls 14 different dexes and gives you the automatic price. You guys go check it out. It's mine. But yeah, it really does. It
I'm
really.
not even going to mention any competitors. I'm just going to remain silent.
Well, okay. I'm just saying we're going to crush Uniswap. We're using
Okay.
Uniswap. Okay, if it's got good prices, we use it. But that's but in all seriousness, I mean that is.
I think that that's a great idea. By the way, I think that I think doing most efficient order routing
It's all automated.
and transaction ordering is a fabulous public good. Or like, I mean, even MetaMask does this. So MetaMask,
I know, gosh, they came out with it like a week before I was coming
right.
home. It kind of irritated me.
Yeah. So MetaMask does that,
Yeah.
but they charge a 0.8% fee to do it. So if you
I charge 0.03, I think.
That's a lot cheaper.
Well, it's a lot cheaper. Yeah, a lot cheaper. We got ways for you to make it cheaper down the road. Yeah.
So I think at the prices people will be buying at, it's really going to be gas sensitive as well.
Yeah.
Because depending on the day, gas can be pretty pricey. Back when Uni launched, it was $50 to claim it. You want to claim your Uni at the Uni launch?
I paid a $75 transaction fee during that time. Yeah. Yep. And I'm just thinking, like, I have one of my editors here in the office. She had kind of gotten into some of the Uniswap degen stuff, and she wasn't trading with as much as I was trading with. And I'd be like, hey, I think this coin's going to do real well, and she'd go and she'd be like, yeah, but it cost me so much to make this trade. Like, I'm probably better just sitting in where I'm at right now. I'm like, dang, like I don't even, the gas fees like don't register with a lot of trades I do. But for the people that are, just getting into it and are starting with a small portfolio and trying to build it up, like those gas fees are killing it. But what we're seeing is that when it comes to any of these decentralized exchange issues, so many people are always rushing in to solve whatever the problem is. We're seeing it with the gas fees. We're seeing so many right now do aggregation of DEXs. And it's like, at some point, Uniswap and Kyber and some of these other ones, the decentralized exchange world is going to get more decentralized, and they're going to lose their grip, I think, on a lot of it. It's like self-fulfilling prophecy. Maybe. Decentralized exchange.
Maybe. There's efficiency. There's computational efficiency in combining liquidity.
Yeah. There's
computational inefficiency. So I want you to imagine a world where you have one order book that needs to mirror the real world price of something else.
Yeah.
Let's say Bitcoin. So someone has the wrapped Bitcoin, let's say you have one order book where you have to maintain something. Okay. Well, now that order book changes. Now, what if there's 100 other order books that also need updated every tick of every price movement? You end up with algorithmic, like there's this thing called Big O notation where you can do an analysis of how hard computing gets as you deal with larger sizes of data. And Ethereum will be more and more expensive to transact on if that development that you're thinking might happen with more things spreading out wider, if that occurs. I mean, if the price moves, you've got to change it on one order book. But now if you've got 100 order books and the price moves, or one guy trades somewhere, and now you got to multiply that 100 times, it starts to get very computationally inefficient.
Yeah.
You can only do about 1 million transactions a day on Ethereum, period. That's it. So use them wisely.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many more transactions on Ethereum than Bitcoin. I don't know if people know that.
Oh, yeah.
It's
and fees.
Close. Yeah.
The miners make more fees. There's more transactions. There's just more to do. You can't do anything with Bitcoin. You want to use a stablecoin in Bitcoin? Fuck yourself. You want to use decentralized exchange? Fuck yourself. You want to tokenize some assets? Fuck yourself. You're like, all right, yeah, we're going to go to the winning team. See you guys.
Yeah. You want to make something, come up with it, and then give people a bunch of free stuff, and then they make a bunch of money. F them.
Yep. And we've also got derivatives, we've got options, we've got futures. Like,
I like options.
You like this Bitcoin? I don't like. I hope the number keeps going up, but it's slow, expensive.
It's going to keep going up. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like if you imagine this won't be political, but like a presidential election, okay, for either party, right? You start out with like 20 guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about on one side or the other. Like, 20 Republicans, let's say. One of those guys is really good, but he'll never get any stage time. Nobody knows who he is because the media doesn't focus on him. He doesn't have a big following. He's like way, way, way better. But the guy that was the senator in the big state that people know his name and he had the little scandal, he gets the attention, you know? And I'm not saying Bitcoin's scandalous. I mean, there might be some sketchy stuff, but what I'm saying is Bitcoin will continue to front run for a while because it is the household name and it gets all the attention. We all know there's much better technology than it, but that's why I think Ethereum, this run, I've been trying to like push to people, like I'm so much more bullish on on Ethereum than Bitcoin, percentage gains wise, even though Bitcoin's going to do well, because I think by the end of this run, Ethereum is going to be a household name similar to what Bitcoin became. I mean, people know what Bitcoin is. Most people do. Almost everyone's heard of it after 2017, even though, you know, the popularity waned for sure. People had heard of it. Household name. You know what Bitcoin is. I think that will happen for Ethereum. And, you know, it's going to change the game for it. I think it's like so much potential. It does things, you know, that, you know, Bitcoin just can't do.
And never will.
Never will. No. What about these people that are like, yeah, don't worry. Bitcoin itself will have smart contract integration into it, and there will be no need for decentralized finance. Like, do these people hear themselves? Do they? Do they listen to themselves?
I used to promote the small block team. And when I did that, there was a block size increase on the Blockstream roadmap. It was on the roadmap. We never got it. Why not? Is it because computers are slower? Is it because hard drives are smaller? Is it because networks have less capacity? No, it's because the ecosystem's fine. So it's like, yeah, guys, you don't even follow your own roadmap. And people are leaving Blockstream left and right. Peter Wooley left.
Yeah, the Blockstream thing's all a little sketch to me.
They're just losing developers left and right. So it's, you know,
I mean, do you really have to continue to develop something that's main utility as its scarcity?
Well, they did do the Taproot and Graft.
Fair.
And if it gets forked in, then it would add some anonymity, which would be nice. I'd like that. So if that can get in.
But that would give it more pushback from governments and regulations.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And I think the exchanges, for the same reason they delist privacy coins, a lot of them, would choose not to support that fork. So because they don't want to lose their bank relationships. So I would put it at like a 20% chance that
I think Bitcoin's just kind of like it's a hot chick. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see her, she looks good. She don't got to do much. Attractive. She's got some things, but what does she do? She goes and she gets her hair cut like crazy. Like, why did you get your haircut like that? Like, you were fine before. You were, you know, everything you were trying to do, you were doing it. You were making it happen. Okay. But, you know, got to be careful with my words here. But like Bitcoin, like, we don't need it to do anything else anymore. But the maxis, they want it to do much more. They want it to be something.
They want it to do more, but they're not willing to actually hire any developers.
Even if they had them, like, what's the purpose? Like, it's archaic in the world of technology. The way that it operates. The only strength.
Can you imagine waiting 10 minutes for a transaction? Can you imagine that?
No. Can you imagine waiting 5 days? Because that's what it was. The average. I was looking this up. Like, the average confirmation time during the peak congestion in 2017, or maybe the first week of 2018, it was 5 days.
It's pretty rough.
You couldn't do anything. You could not do anything with it. And that's rough. Not going away. It's going to be bad again. The difference is, like, I think now, you know, a lot of people are not necessarily, you know, counting on Bitcoin being a currency. So maybe they won't do as many transactions with it. It's more like you just hold it, you know?
I have an idea. Everybody, open up your browser, go to bridge.renproject.io and consider turning your Bitcoin into Ethereum. And then if you want, you can turn it into HEX. Just go to ethhex.com. Wow. Or you can just leave it as Ethereum. Who gives? But hey, consider jumping into something that has a lower market cap and therefore acts like a leverage position lightly, in that when Bitcoin goes up, it tends to go up more. So I said, hey, 2020 could be a year where Bitcoin beats the dollar, Ethereum beats Bitcoin, and HEX beats both. And what do you know? It's exactly what happened.
Who would have
Ethereum's
thought
still
that
up
you
over
would have
Bitcoin since the COVID drop, about
predicted something?
2 or 3 fold.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't want people to get confused. I mean, I like Bitcoin. I mean, that's what I first got into. I mean, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It's what is really responsible for this whole space, obviously. But things change. And I think Bitcoin as digital gold, it serves a great purpose. I know you said you think that there's a lot better stores of value out there.
Mm-hmm.
There may be, but I think due to the overwhelming size of the Bitcoin network, the security of it, I think
This could change so fast.
It can. You're right.
If people start to
Do
decide,
you know how fast decentralized exchanges took over? Like it just.
Oh yeah.
Like I looked up and was like, I never
2
thought
months.
this would happen in 5 years.
Yeah.
2 months
$1.5 billion
later,
of Ethereum sitting in Uniswap right now in the order book. Thickest order book in the entire world. Period.
Ooh, she thick. She real thick.
So it's like, yeah, you need to learn about DeFi now, because the best order execution is on chain with no counterparty risk, and the least slippage, the best trading. So like, yep, you got to learn about it now. It's not optional. I got all this shit figured out. If you want to hear my positions on life and politics, you can go watch my oldest YouTube videos, which I made before crypto was popular, before Bitcoin had done its run to 3K at the time. And if you want to read my book, which is free currently, the edited version, I just got back from the editor a month ago, probably sell that, probably not make that free.
When you were talking politics, did people say that it was a cash grab?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't even have ads turned on my YouTube channel, man.
No.
I have a price cost channel. I don't charge for it. I have no ads on my YouTube channel. I give away free coins.
Crypto,
I give away free books.
Cash grab.
Everything I give away is like free. You don't even know an address you can send me money to. I don't even have a donation address.
Yeah, but see, even that though, like if you don't have a donation address, like that's kind of like almost like pretentiously saying like, hey, I don't need that money, so people don't like that. I don't.
Unlike Andreas, I actually made money in crypto.
Oh God.
I didn't need to beg and grovel for money.
I don't like that
at all.
You don't like Andreas?
Nope.
He's like, he's what? He's
Andreas is a straight up.
He was nice to me.
And I'm being friendly with that. I could call him other words that are more accurate and more insulting, but I won't. So it's like Andreas, he never built anything. He learns about code. Don't write no code. Right? This is like the copy paste Bitcoin, like Charlie Lee. Hey, I'm going to copy paste Bitcoin, change the minimum amount,
really,
and then act like I'm good. No, you ain't good, man. You copy paste. Writing new code that has new features that didn't exist before, that's hardcore. That's solving new problems. That's solving new pain points or old pain points that people had. How many things in the top 10 crypto aren't forks of Bitcoin? Zcash is a fork of Bitcoin. I don't even know where it is on the market cap ranks. Dead. Litecoin's a fork of Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash.
You mean you would not trade 8 Zcash for one, or 8 Bitcoin for 1 Zcash?
Hey, when you spend $80 million a year on dev and you dump the price every year from your founder's tax, what do you think is going to happen? That $80 million a year is coming out of somewhere. It's coming out of dump constant forever, or you got to fire people. So, and they should fire them out, because what are they doing? What are they building over there? Back to why Andreas is a bitch. I believe in personal freedom and sovereignty. Okay. Yeah. Now, there are some things that I like that Andreas does. I do like the things that he said about Bitcoin. I do like the things that he said about Ethereum. Oh. I do not like the things he said about controlling women's right to work.
Oh,
so he says,
yeah, I actually agree with you 100% on this. Yeah.
He says he will not speak at your conference if there's any booth girls or models working there.
Yeah.
You, Andreas. These girls need to eat. They need work. They need jobs. So you got a good brain. You can make money at the conference. But these girls that got pretty faces, pretty bodies, they can't make money at the conference. Who are you to decide that? It's disgusting.
They can't go in there in a dress and have a guy with scissors come cut one small piece apart every 5 minutes until she's not wearing.
I'm not sure that's a thing, but it sounds cool.
That is a thing, literally in Las Vegas.
It sounds cool.
World CryptoCon one year, in front of a Lambo. He was like a Mr.
I would sit and watch that.
Bonsai tree.
Watching it.
Yeah, he was
cutting
he was just cutting triangles out all over her dress. It was crazy. It was so dang interesting. I mean,
sounds cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, not just like you're sitting there and like, yeah, there's a hot chick there, but I'm just saying like, it was unbelievable how he could cut it and she still was contained in that thing. It was an art. It really was. He was trimming that bonsai.
Look this up on YouTube. You got some bonsai expert out there.
Yeah.
So what else does he do, right? This cowardice. he says, I'm not saying Hex is a scam, but I think it might be. It has red flags. I'm like, okay, it's got red
I'm just
flags.
saying, why,
Like what? Like what?
people don't. This is why I never said anything. I never said Hex was a scam. I've never one time said it.
I'm glad you didn't.
I was a little skeptical. You know,
you
I
be
mean,
getting.
some people
the
say
Hexicans come out on people to do that shit, man. They come and they're looking up all your old trades, all your old calls. If you talk about Hex now, there's about 20 or 30 dedicated full-time coming for you with their real identities. No bullshit, no bots.
But do you know why I never said it? Because I never had.
You may not have really been convinced it was one.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just because everybody was saying it was one, so it made me a little leery. But you know, like, what do I know? You know, like, it's just like, you know, it's crazy. Like when Calvin Ayre, okay, which pretty much nobody likes, when Calvin Ayre went to Cuba and had that little dance team come, and that girl was dancing on him, and everyone said, "Oh my gosh, he's a pedophile." Like, do you guys have that girl's license to know how old she is? You know, sometimes people sometimes they look super.
Yeah, but they call everybody a pedophile now, man. Joe Biden, pedophile. Trump, pedophile. It's like they just use it literally. Like, every word you can use to insult buddy, they use the whole list.
That's a crazy thing to say about someone without having any proof, like, and widespread. And he could have sued probably a lot of people. He's got the money to do it too. I think he threatened to sue people over it. Like, I think that girl probably was actually of age, probably. You know, like, I don't think they would have been putting it out on those pictures if she wasn't. She probably just looked really young. How you don't have empirical evidence of the girl's age? You're like, okay, she looked like
the internet abides by good reporting journalistic standards.
I know.
I don't think trolls that literally have in there. Half the people I block literally have the adjective troll or noun troll in their profile.
You feel like it's only like 10 guys. Like 10 guys with like
they just keep making new profiles. It's really
No, I think I mean, a lot of I know a lot of people that attack me that are like, I actually have some evidence of that, but not that I care that much. But like people saying stuff that they don't know. Like, it's okay. Like, hey, we all talk about stuff, like make predictions and, you know, assumptions and things like that. But when you're talking about like calling something an absolute scam, or you're talking about saying something about somebody's character,
let me defend these guys.
I just can't do it unless I'm really.
There's so many scams in crypto. It's a safe bet half the time.
It's
half the time. If you call something a scam without any foresight, you'll be like, okay, half the time you'll be right.
Well, your definition.
But when you call some shit, I made a scam. Yeah. After I called the 20K Christmas, after I retired in 2003, after I've mined full blocks of Bitcoin with no pool, I've won too many times in a fucking row to be like, oh yeah, the thing he made, that's going to be a scam. Yeah. Probably not. Probably not.
That was the tension. That was the tension during that time, though, which was like, no one could believe that Richard was doing this, you know?
I think it's because people thought I was a YouTuber or some shit. They didn't realize what I really am. Like,
oh, yeah.
I look like a YouTuber because I occasionally make a video that gets a lot of views, but I don't make thumbnails. I don't edit my videos. I don't cut the beginnings off, cut the ends off. I don't do anything, nothing. I don't do any work at all on my YouTube channel. Absolutely nothing. So me being a successful YouTuber, lol, 50K subs, but in crypto, it's actually a lot, which is pitiful because crypto is so small. You know, if I did keyboard reviews, I'd have more views, literally, truthfully. If I did keyboard reviews, I'd have more views. There's a guy named Cairo San that has like 300K subs. He does keyboard reviews. He's got a nice deep voice. So
it makes a big difference.
I think what happens is like other YouTubers look at me and they're like, oh yeah, you know, his shit's got to suck because he can't make anything good because he's like me and I can't make anything good. And I would feel bad if he made something good because then I'd feel bad I didn't make something good. Some kind of shit like that, right? And then you're like, no, guys, actually, I've been a serial entrepreneur with, you know, 150 employees, been in 10 different businesses.
I created Rice Krispies, you know.
I didn't invent the question mark, but
there's a
lot of really cool going on here.
It's a serial.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everyone just gets hate anyway. I mean, everybody hates Vitalik.
Well, there is an element of that that's true. Like just think about this. I mean, I don't know if you're a sports guy. I wouldn't think you're a sports guy. Are you a sports guy?
I used to play football, but I'm not. I don't watch it.
Okay, so Michael Jordan. Everybody knows who Michael Jordan is. Yeah. Obviously, greatest player we ever saw in basketball. Like, people say he was overrated. Like, because people like LeBron now, like people literally say Michael Jordan was overrated. Like, if you were live and watching him play, like there was no overrated. And the fact that he gets attacked for being overrated, Michael Jordan, the greatest athlete I ever saw in my life, that tells you everything you need to know about what it's like to have
They also hate Elon Musk, and they also hate Steve Jobs, and they also hate Jeff Bezos, and they also hate Bill Gates, and they hate me. Bill Gates although, let's be fair, I don't belong on that list yet.
Yeah.
You know, if anyone knows you exist, you're getting hated. Period.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's coming down to like, what is the thing that, you know, like some people, like they can just take the hate, and I can absorb hate. Like I like hate pretty good when it's of a certain kind, you know. The thing that I don't like is the made up lies about me, the misportrayal of my character and what I do. You know, like there's this whole thing where we sold BitBoy collectible cards, and we made a lot of money in like 2 weeks selling these cards. We're still working on them. We're bringing out more cards. We're long-term in on this, right? We think that, you know, we got a game coming out on Wax, a lot of stuff. We made a lot of money. People literally just said like, oh, well, there's no way they could have possibly sold that many cards. So definitely, unequivocally, they were buying their own cards. Like, nah, bitch, I made a lot of money. Like, I didn't buy my cards. You know what I'm saying? It literally did not happen. I got attacked on Twitter for like 2 whole days because of something that's 100% inaccurate. And this guy was like, oh no, I've got he went around sharing the ether scan of like where basically our address had sent out, there was some cross addressing, right? Rarebull even came out and said, guys, it was 3 cards out of 500. Like nobody looked at it. People were just like,
I'm the wrong guy to talk about NFTs.
What's
you don't
that?
want to hear my opinion. You don't want to hear my opinion on NFTs.
Well, here's the thing. NFTs have been a way for me to kind of reintroduce the original vision of what this channel was supposed to be, which was comic, you know, a comic series, an animated cartoon series. So it's given us the opportunity to like do that and develop the ecosystem. So, you know, whether they're overvalued or undervalued or whether they will bring adoption or not, I just like doing it.
Let me present you an alternative universe. Okay. People decide
Richard Hart is
like
humble.
Art.
Richard Hart is humble.
No, we're not going to ever get that far.
I would never go there.
So, well, I mean, it depends. I am humble on a lot of like diet. I'm the worst, man.
Hey,
you don't want to see what the fuck I eat. Like, I know what I'm bad at.
Met. You do not want to
not cursing. I curse like a sailor. That's not professional. I'm incredible. I should stop doing that, right? I do. Yeah. I know what I'm bad at. In a world where people like art, artists should receive more funding to generate more and better art. However, when new game theory and mechanisms capture 99% of the value for the speculator, but under the guise of funding art, it starves the artists. So what I see in a lot of gambling is that people just find a new excuse to make it as though the gambling was okay. So people will buy coins that have no product market fit.
I forgot about that. Yeah, we talked about that last time we talked. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's if I look at the world and I see mistakes that I've made. I blew 10 years of my life playing video games. Blew it. I've got a predator icon, which means I won 4,000 games in StarCraft 2, which means you got to play 8,000 games because matchmaking gets you to 50-50.
Oh, you're the exact person.
And the games average 20 minutes each.
Yeah, you're the guy. When people hear me in my videos say like, oh, you'll never get out of your mom's basement playing Minecraft, it was you.
Well, StarCraft 2 in this case, but I also played Team Fortress 2.
The fact you had to differentiate that really drives home the point.
So I wasted a decade of my life, and I don't want to see other people have that regret and that pain. And I give them tips and tricks on how to break free because I broke free, and I had to delete my accounts. I had to break the disks, and I had to null route the IP using host.etc or host.text. So like I had to use every trick in the book to break free, and it was hard, man, you know, because you want to fall back into old habits, and you got to get new habits that make it so you don't want to fall back into old ones because nature abhors a vacuum. So I teach people how to live better life. Same with trading. How many people you know have lost money trading? Fucking everybody. Everybody loses money trading. Okay, well, how do you stop people from doing that? Tell them there's a better way. Tell them the only people to get rich are founders and holders. And you ain't found it. So, hey, what's left for you? You could hold, right? As long as you're in product market fit, not some hype, promise coin, exit scam, right? Like it has to have real adoption. The users have to be engaging in the right ways or it just doesn't have longevity. That's the difference, by the way, between blockchain games and successful crypto projects. It's the longevity. It's how long are people going to continue to be engaged by this thing? And all games fall off. I mean, you could say like the longest running digital game might be like CS:GO. And for me, that shit's boring as I cannot play Counter-Strike.
Is that Counter-Strike?
Like, so boring.
Yeah, I hate
Rush
all
B,
those games.
no.
But I like to play.
4.
I like to play Madden and NBA
All right.
Live. That's all I got. And Zelda. That's the one nerd game I play. But I play it and beat it in a few weeks, and I don't pick it up again for years.
Nice.
So,
And that I do support. Listen, if you're playing a game that has a narrative, a beginning and an end, that's just an enhanced story. That's a wonderful experience.
I love those.
The most fun I've ever had digitally is that.
Games have gone away from that completely. It drives me crazy.
Exactly. Now it's a grind with microtransactions and raping your consciousness for profit, and it's just horrible.
And
if you're
nobody
playing a grinding game,
nobody wins. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody ultimately beats the game. Therefore, you have no losers. The game is your trophy.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Like, I even got hooked on that, man. I got hooked on a casual phone game once. And I'm like, is this really my life now? I'm hooked on this horrible, disgusting game. Oh,
I like to play Angry Birds Bubble Pop. That's the one I've been on for about a year and a half now. I
stay away, man. I'm not falling back into that.
I fall asleep. That's how I go to sleep, is I play those games. And I can tell if I'm going to just stay up for a while or I'm going to go to sleep, because within about 2 minutes of playing one of those games or whatever, it just hypnotizes me and I go to sleep.
Right.
And so I put it off. You know, if I want to stay up, I'm like,
look, some people can have good relationships with games. Some people can have good relationships with drugs. Some people can have good relationships with gambling. But in general, these are risky behaviors for compulsive people.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like with alcoholics, like you don't know if you're an alcoholic unless you go down that road and start drinking, you know? So hypothetically, if you just never drank, you would definitely not become an alcoholic, you know?
Yep. True. You know, it's a slippery slope. It's a cascade effect. And it's like, if you're the easiest way to not have your sixth drink is to not have your first drink.
Yeah.
But if you're already on drink 5, real easy to get to 6.
Yeah.
So it gets harder and harder so there's a great saying by Balthasar Gracian, a Jesuit priest who wrote a wonderful self-help book called The Art of Worldly Wisdom a couple hundred years ago. And one of his great quotes is, never open the door to a small evil, for many larger follow. And you're like, yep, that's how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Pandora's box.
I'm going to have one game. I'm just going to have one beer. I'm just going to do this one thing. And then, I'm just going to margin long, a little 2X, low margin. Just liquidating the 50% move.
That Tide Pod sure does look soft. I'm just going to crunch on the Tide Pod. You never know if you're a tighter.
The forbidden fruit or whatever, like the fucking, it looks so delicious. It really does look tasty. But you shouldn't eat Tide Pods
for children. I think did they redo it where it doesn't look? No, it still looks like candy, I think.
Oh man,
I have to fight it every day. You know.
Yeah. So like,
listen, Richard.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We have to go. This has been the longest interview of my whole life, and this was supposed to be a 20-minute interview, but I can't help it because you're so interesting, and I really. The bravado, the opposite of humility. There's not even a word for it. I think. I love it, and you say a lot of my thoughts actually on things. So, that's good. Yeah. So let's try to
I was this way again. Before I launched a multi-billion-dollar
cryptocurrency. Like maybe more. You know, it's fun.
Look, man. You know, if you got a bag of HEX, I'm a pretty cool guy to talk to because I know a bit about HEX.
Yeah, that's true.
I wish you good luck on your bag. You got to find a better word than that. It's not respective of the power of the investment. I mean, if your investment went from 350 to 25K, I don't think bag is the right word. I think that's like treasure, you know, like what more could you want? And you could cash out right now.
Yeah.
You could emergency on stake and cash out right this minute. But or you could wait and get paid the big payday.
I'm a gambler.
Or like,
hold out, see what happens.
Yeah. You're in control. Like cryptocurrency was invented to put you in control of your finances with no middleman, no counterparty risk. Who else is doing that? You want to make money on your Bitcoin? You got to give your keys to somebody. And what do? They run away with your keys. Like this company Cred, CRED. I never even heard of them before.
I hadn't either.
Now
but
they're
I have
bankrupt.
now.
They owe hundreds of millions of dollars. You're like, what do you know? Another Centralized party took people's keys, lost all their money. Oops. Who could have predicted that? Satoshi could have predicted that. That's why he invented Bitcoin, to stop that from happening. It's hilarious. So I invented something that lets you make yield while you hold your own keys. Can't get exit scammed. And all these other projects, people are giving them their keys, and they lose all their money. Like these farming projects named after foods.
Oh God, that's
You're like, guys, you're gonna lose your money.
Well, a lot of those with the big returns, I got sucked into a few of those because the returns are so great, but because everybody's getting the returns, they would immediately sell it as soon as they claim their rewards, and it was just like a slow death. It was a slow death where you were balancing out like, oh, I'm making so many coins. Oh, but the price is going down. I'm actually losing money. If it could just stabilize and go sideways for one day, just sideways,
then you'd be profitable. Yeah,
I would have been way profitable. But
I prefer a price chart be good looking, because I think for new people that want to participate in the ecosystem, a beautiful price chart that goes up and to the right, like the logo, exponential growth, 369. That's the best you can do for onboarding new users, I think. So
it's good. Well,
it's good talking to you, man. Can I show all that I'd like to see people do?
Please, Richard, shill all of your things.
Come follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/RichardHartWin. Join the 54K other people there, 53K other people enjoying my beautiful tweets. YouTube.com/RichardHart. T.me/HEX crypto. We got 21,000 people in the chat. And there's a really cool command in there called pasta, !pasta. It gives you like 10 or 20 other commands that you can call. Answers all your questions, right? How does Uniswap work? !uni, right? How does a big payday work? !BPD. It's awesome. Go get the free books if you want to read books that are, a collection of some of my greatest thoughts. T.me/Scivive, SCIVIVE. Go to hex.com, or if you want a referral link, pumpamentals.com. Or if you want to self-refer yourself and make a 32% bonus, click your own referral link. So go to hex.com or hex.com. You have only got less than 4 days to use the referral program. It's disappearing. It's over. You've got less than 4 days.
I never gave it out one time. I probably failed on that. Big loss.
Probably lost $1 million or $2 million on that.
I might have. Truthfully.
Because if you look what the other referrers made,
I wanted to be sure. I like to be as sure about things as I can. You
got 4 days left.
People wouldn't believe that, but it's true.
You got 4 days left to get your referral link out there, and in 4 days, you're not going to be able to claim with Bitcoin for free anymore. So we see, the occasional 1,000 Bitcoin, 500 Bitcoin, 100 Bitcoin claim coming in now. You only got 4 days left to do your Bitcoin free claims. You only got 4 days left to click your referral links. You've only got 4 days left to transform Ethereum into HEX in the contract. And if you self-refer yourself, you get a 32% bonus. That's all going away in 4 days.
Actually, this is coming out tomorrow. It'll only be 3 days. Wow.
Well,
you're really
burning get busy.
Yeah.
Then once that phase is over, so once you get in the last adoption amplifier lobby, it's like day 351. You've got 1 day to get restaked. So you exit the lobby, mint your coins. You got 1 day to get restaked. You got to be staked by the 18th. So it becomes active on the 19th. So you get paid the big payday. And then if you want to just cash it out, you can cash it out on the 20th. And then if you go to hex.com, it's going to show you whether you're going to make the big payday or not. When you enter your length, it's going to show you a little dot. If your stake touches the dot and lights the dot up, then you're going to see how much your big payday estimated bonus is. Now that big payday will go down if a lot of people open up stakes. Which I don't know.
Mine has gone down a little bit. Mine's gone down about, it went from like 6.1 milli to like 5.6 over the last
I would be
months.
like,
so it's not too bad.
If people don't stake for that single day, they have to be retarded. I mean, you're just staking for a single day, and you're going to get like the biggest payout in the history of the thing ever. It only happens once. It's a third of the supply. If you that number has to go up. It just has to, in my opinion. But if it doesn't, and people close a bunch of stakes, that number could actually increase. So your big payday could go up if people close stakes, and it will go down if people open stakes. And I'm betting on stakes opening. And then what else? So free books, free videos, free chat, free coins. I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
263X this year so far. People are shocked by that, but Bitcoin's up 1.6 million X right now. And Ethereum launched at 30 cents, wicked down to 15 cents on Kraken, and is about $500 now. So if you like the 30 cents
I think according to maybe coin Etherscan was somewhere. I think Bitcoin's up even more. I think it's like 2.7 million% or something, according to my calculations.
Well, I mean, I'm only going down to a penny. So we did trade lower than a penny.
That's why, because it started out at 4 Bitcoin per penny.
There you go. So, I mean, you could inflate these numbers to be even more amazing.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin's up 1.6 million X from a penny. Now it was up 2 million X at the end of 2017. If you traded futures, it was up even farther, went up to 22, 24K, 26K, can't remember. These some big numbers, man. So when people get scared by 263X, you're like, hey, you're the same guy that saw Bitcoin at a penny, $1, $10, $100, $1,000. And I wouldn't be surprised to see at some point, 10,000. I wouldn't be surprised to see 100,000 at some point. Now the
Bitcoin
the cycles are getting longer. So our last, our last bull to bull peak, I think, was 3 years. And now if we hit it now, it's going to be like 4 years. And then maybe the next one will be like 5 years or something, right? Because our logarithmic scale is kind of like fallen over a little bit. So anyway, I think it's the bull run, mate. It's the right environment. Helicopter money, they're printing it, everything's going up. Crypto's
just think about this. We're going to get unlimited stimulus money and no one's going to have to go to work at all.
Great.
It's all going to be canceled. Everybody's going to get stimulus. Nobody's going to have to pay mortgages. Nobody's going to have to pay rent. Sucks for the people that own the mortgages and the houses. But you know what? Let's get this money. Kind of
as long as someone's still feeding me cheeseburgers, I'm okay.
I don't want the economy to crash, but when it does, I'm at least prepared for it. Well, Richard, you shilled all the things. You've literally shilled every single thing you possibly should. Yeah, it was good talking to you. And I will talk to you guys later.
Congratulations on making money.
Oh,
a lot of people lose money. Yeah. You did good.
Yeah, thank you. I do like to make money.
Good talking to you, man.
It's a good thing. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching. That's all we got. Big boy out.
See you, man.